say a crazy drag queen, or perhaps you're gay? Is there a point to all these fancy clothes with all these buckles from your head down to your toes? It's very simple, but I'm just another girl. It's not so easy, but I'm giving it a whirl. Is there something that you're trying to prove with all the makeup and the way you move? Are you looking for some sympathy? No, I'm trying to be the best girl I can be. It's very simple, but I'm just another girl. It's not so easy, but I'm giving it a whirl. Like my martini stride, cosmos I won't deny. Smoke those long cigarettes. Thank God I'm not dead yet. Done all these crazy things, short of a wedding ring. Just another
Good evening. I'm Cliff T.a.L.L, and this is nlcTrans. Thank you for joining us. Tonight we're going to talk probably about a whole bunch of things because we're kind of good at that. Good at talking, that is. We may not necessarily know what we're talking about, but we can talk. But we're going to talk on what is probably a somewhat timely issue, and that is politics to a degree. None of us are big into politics all that much, but with the election coming up, we thought we would talk a little bit about this and potentially what it's going to mean to us, and hopefully we can cover maybe a little territory here that is sort of outside of what we are. That we're a show about transsexuals, but we're going to be diving into some stuff that really pertains to everybody, and maybe we can find some common ground with some of the people out there that don't like us very much, and certainly there are some of those. But anyway, by all means, call us. The number's on the screen. We'll be happy to answer your questions and to the best of our ability. And the whole political thing, we have the presidential election coming up, among other elections, and it's one of those things. The way this affects the transgender community, the transsexual community, is not always all that clear. In this case, we've got two candidates, Obama and McCain, who neither of whom are going to publicly embrace us. We're not terribly surprised about that, but it does affect us, and the outcome of this election could affect us in a whole bunch of different ways, and certainly even though neither candidate is going to befriend us. There are certainly other ways, and one of the big ways that this could affect us and affect other members of the LGBT community is in the Supreme Court. And Tara, you had been talking to me earlier about the way this election could sway could sway the Supreme Court, which is very, very interesting to us, and certainly to everybody else out there in a whole bunch of different ways. But I was hoping maybe you could talk a little bit about the potential with the two different candidates and how that would affect the Supreme Court and how that would pertain to our issues.
Well, it's they've been talking about it some in the news recently. There's several justices that may, in the next 4 to 8 years, retire or, God forbid, have other problems that require them to withdraw. But the powers of the president in appointing appointing candidates to the Supreme Court is one of the areas that, their power is is not unchecked because the Senate still has to ratify them, has to approve of them. But the general process for approving of a candidate is well, we can't find anything bad, so I guess we'll let him in. The concern is that John McCain and Barack Obama have both made clear their preferences. Both sides are going to tell you that the other side will appoint activist judges to the Supreme Court, and it's pretty much nonsense. The folks that are going to get appointed to the Supreme Court are going to try and follow the rule of law, or they won't get appointed. But certainly John McCain has expressed an interest in nominating people that would not be in favor of a ruling like Roe v. Wade. And the concern, of course, would be that with one more justice swaying their opinion, Roe v. Wade has the potential for being overturned. And Roe v. Wade is a pivotal civil rights issue in American history that laid the groundwork for a lot of subsequent rulings by courts. And the overturn of it would have long-lasting civil rights ramifications. So there's definitely some concern when it comes to the president being able to appoint people. The Senate has to ratify them, but we've seen in the last 16 years that there's not a lot that gets turned away unless they're extremely bad candidates.
Right. Well, I mean, they have to, the Congress has to approve who sent them, and the candidate or the president is only going to send a certain
Right. The president's not going to be
profile.
foolish and nominate someone that wouldn't be able, well, I shouldn't say that. We did run into that one little instance, but under our current president back a ways. But they're not going to be foolish enough generally to appoint somebody that's going to have such radical views or be so vocally, so vocal about their views that they would be subject to being kicked out. Right. I heard one interview talk about, 40, 50 years ago, a Supreme Court appointment, they would go before the Senate committee and they would, be questioned. And the candidates would actually answer the questions, and their actual opinions and their actual judicial records would come into play.
Wow.
And people actually got, okay, maybe it's a little nostalgia, but people have gotten, one might say, savvier over the years, and you find a lot more evasive answers. If you can't get a straight answer, as one representative, one senator had said, if you can't get a straight answer out of them, then you can't come up with anything concrete to reject them on.
Good point. That is a good point. Politics. Yeah. Now, as an organization, certainly the whole Roe v. Wade issue scares me to death. But as an organization, we are not we're not pro-choice or pro-life or anything. That really isn't what we're about.
Right.
Personally, overturning Roe v. Wade scares me to death. I can't imagine going back to the days of back alley abortions. Having said that, abortion is something that I don't personally like, and this is not the opinion of certainly of our organization or this station or anybody else. My opinion is that I don't like abortion. It's something that bothers me. However, sometimes it's a necessary thing, and to overturn Roe v. Wade would be very, very scary. Just in the practical sense, not looking at all at the precedent. But hopefully that will not happen. But that is scary, and it's scary as a women's rights issue.
Well, it is frightening, and I agree with you there. And personally, I think the rest of us have worries about this too, as we're seeing cases brought on the national